everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is Wednesday, so I'm going to be participating in Top 5 Wednesday. Credit for this goes to Ginger Reads Laney, and I will link her down in the description box below. And for those of you who don't know, Top 5 Wednesday is where basically they pick out some topics and then you pick your top 5 books based on that particular topic. There's a Goodreads group that I will also link below with a list of the topics, so you can participate at any time. So today's topic is the top 5 books that I want to reread. I'm not against rereading books like some people are. I actually very frequently reread some of my favorite books. Some of those I must have read the Chronicles of Narnia probably upwards of 15 times, to be completely honest. I've reread Harry Potter a zillion times. I've reread The Dark Tower a zillion times. So because of that, obviously none of those things will make it on this list, but I am solely going to be focusing on books that I have only read once, that I do have a desire to reread for various reasons. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first book on my list is actually The Stand by Stephen King. As you can see, this book is huge. This is actually my mom's copy that I jacked from her about a zillion years ago. But I have read this book only once because it is so massively large, but there are so many things in this that I feel like because of its size that you don't really get to absorb right away, and for that reason it's something that I do want to go back and reread. Also, Stephen King is one of my favorite authors. I love horror. This is a very different kind of horror than some of his other books. It's a lot more about the horrors of humanity in a sense, and that's one reason that I did enjoy it so much whenever I read it the first time. But that's why I want to reread it. By the way, these books aren't really listed as 1 through 5. They're just the top 5. There's not really one that I want to reread more than the other or anything like that, so it's just 5 books. So the next book that I'm going to talk about is A Ring of Endless Light by Madeline. I don't actually know how to say her last name. Gosh darn it, here I go with the names again. I read this book years and years ago. I don't know if you would consider this YA or middle grade. It has been so long since I've read it. My copy is kind of beat up because I've had it for a million years. I remember really loving this book whenever I read it the first time. And one thing that I'm trying to do right now is kind of go back through and read certain books that had made an impression on me whenever I was a kid. And one of the reasons for that is I'm kind of a firm believer, because this has happened to me whenever I have reread books in the past, is, you know, as you grow into an adult, you do get different things out of different books each time you read them. And that can be true of really any book. But like, for example, I went through and reread To Kill a Mockingbird as an adult, and I definitely got something different out of it the second time around, and then the third time around. Same thing with most of the other books that I've reread, you know, especially even Harry Potter. I've gotten something different from them each time that I have gone through and read those. So anyway, that is why I want to reread this. It's just been so long since I've read it, and again, this is a book that always like sticks out in my mind. It's made an impression on me, and I really do you know, want to see what I can get out of it as an adult. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about that I want to reread is Macbeth by Shakespeare, and quite honestly, this goes for all Shakespeare. I had to read a lot of Shakespeare in high school because pretty much everybody does, and I don't think that I really liked it all that much. So I really wanted to give myself the opportunity to really go back through and reread those things, and again, see what else I can get out of them. Also, because I have really widened my reading taste, I am much more well-read than I was whenever, you know, we read these things for the first time. I kind of want to see what my take on those is now, what I noticed that I didn't notice before, what I wasn't forced to notice, I guess you could say. So that is why this is on my list to reread. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I read this, it's been some years ago now I read this, and it didn't really make a lasting impression on me. And I know this is a book that everybody says is wonderful for a million different reasons. Like I said, it didn't really make a lasting impression on me. I don't know if it wasn't what I was in the mood to read at the time. But for that reason, I really want to give myself the opportunity to go back through and reread, and hopefully I'll think it is as wonderful as everyone else does. And the last book that I want to talk about that I actually do not have a physical copy of is The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I had a copy that was my mother's that I read the first time, and when I did read it, I think I read it a little bit too early. I wasn't at a point in my life where I was really able to appreciate it. And granted, some people just hate the book altogether. You know, so that's fine if they hate the book altogether. But I want to give myself the opportunity to, you know, really go through and reread it and once again see what else I can get out of it as an adult that I did not get out of it as a young adult. So those are the top 5 books that I would like to reread. Once again, original link is down in the description box. I really like the idea of this, and I hope to continue doing this in the future. Let me know what you guys think about the books that I chose for this video, if you've read any of them, if you haven't, and what your opinions were. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye.